Welcome back to Nutrition Wellness. Today we are doing a deep dive into one of the most popular, and frankly, one of the most transformative health challenges you can undertake. We are talking about sugar. Specifically, what happens to your body, your brain, your mood, and even your appearance if you completely stop eating added sugar for just 14 days. Now, you might have seen shorter videos on this topic. You might have seen the quick before and afters. But today, I want to go beyond the surface level. We aren't just going to talk about what happens, we are going to talk about why it happens. We're going to look at the biochemistry, the neuroscience of addiction, and give you a realistic, day-by-day roadmap of what this 2-week journey actually feels like. Because here is the truth. If you are the average person living in a modern Western society, you are likely consuming way more sugar than you realize. It's not just the cookies and the sodas. It's in the pasta sauce, the salad dressing, the healthy granola bars, the yogurt. It is everywhere. We have historically never consumed this much hyper-palatable concentrated sweetness. And our bodies are struggling to keep up. We are dealing with chronic inflammation, energy crashes, brain fog, stubborn belly fat, and mood instability. And so much of that traces back to the single ingredient. Before we dive into the timeline, we need to define the rules of engagement for this 14-day challenge. When I say stop eating sugar, what does that mean? For the purpose of this deep dive, we are talking about removing added and refined sugars. We are getting rid of table sugar, high fructose corn syrup, agave, maple syrup, honey, and anything ending in "-ose on an ingredient label, sucrose, dextrose, maltose. We are also removing refined carbohydrates that immediately turn into sugar in your bloodstream, like white bread, white pasta, and white rice. We are not talking about removing whole fruit. An apple has sugar, yes, but it's packaged with fiber, water, and phytonutrients that completely change how your body absorbs it. So, for these 14 days, fruit is okay in moderation, a candy bar is not. This is not going to be easy. In fact, the first few days are going to be incredibly difficult for most people. And that difficulty is actually proof of how dependent your system has become on this substance. So, buckle up. We are about to trace the journey of your body unplugging from the sugar matrix. Before we start the day one clock, we have to understand the current state of affairs. Why is it so hard to stop? Why, when you decide at 8 a.m. to eat healthy, do you find yourself craving chocolate at 3 p.m. with an intensity that feels uncontrollable? It is not a lack of willpower. It is biochemistry. When you consume concentrated sugar, it hits the reward center in your brain, the nucleus accumbens, like a freight train. It triggers a massive release of dopamine. Dopamine is our feel-good neurotransmitter, but more accurately, it's our motivation and seeking chemical. It teaches your brain, that was amazing. Do it again so we can survive. In nature, sweet things were rare. Finding honey or ripe berries was a survival advantage. Today, surrounded by unlimited sweetness, that ancient survival mechanism has been hijacked. Every time you spike your sugar, you get that dopamine hit. Over time, your brain tries to balance things out by downregulating your dopamine receptors. You actually become less sensitive to pleasure. This means you need more sugar just to feel normal, let alone good. That is the definition of tolerance and addiction. Simultaneously, you are wreaking havoc on your hormones, specifically insulin. When sugar enters your blood, your pancreas pumps out insulin to shuttle that sugar out of the blood and into your cells for energy. But when you consume too much sugar, too often, the cells stop listening to the insulin knock on the door. This is insulin resistance. Your pancreas has to pump out more and more insulin to get the job done. High insulin is a fat storage hormone. It locks the doors to your fat cells so you can't burn stored body fat for energy. This is why you can have extra body fat but still feel starving and tired all the time. Your body can't access its own fuel reserves because high insulin is blocking the way. So, right now, before you start, your baseline is likely this: dopamine-resistant brain circuitry craving a fix, and chronically high insulin levels keeping you in fat storage mode. That's what we are undoing. And undoing it is a violent process for the body initially. Okay. Day 1. You've decided to do this. You have cleared the pantry. You ate eggs and avocado for breakfast instead of sugary cereal. The first 24 hours are usually okay. You have some residual glycogen, stored sugar, in your liver. You are running on motivation. You feel virtuous. But by the afternoon of day 1, and certainly into day 2 and day 3, reality sets in. This is the withdrawal phase. And I want to manage your expectations. This part is unpleasant. The first thing you will notice is the cravings. They will not be polite suggestions from your brain, they will be demands. You will find yourself obsessing over foods you didn't even think you cared that much about. You'll walk past a bakery, and the smell will feel almost overpowering. Why? Your brain's reward center is screaming because its easy dopamine supply line has been cut. It is throwing a tantrum. It is trying to trick you into thinking you are genuinely hungry, even if you just ate a full meal of protein and vegetables. You have to learn to distinguish between physical hunger, which is felt in the stomach, and psychological craving, which is felt in the head and mouth. Next, come the physical symptoms. Many people experience headaches during days 2 through 4. This happens for a couple of reasons. First, when you stop eating sugar and refined carbs, your insulin levels drop significantly. Insulin causes your kidneys to retain sodium. When insulin drops, your kidneys start dumping excess water and sodium. This is actually good, it's why you lose a lot of water weight quickly, but that rapid shift in hydration and electrolytes can trigger nagging headaches. You will also likely experience fatigue and irritability. The hangry phase. Your body is used to running on easy, fast-burning glucose kindling. You've taken that away, but it hasn't quite figured out how to efficiently burn fat logs yet. You are in an energy limbo. Your blood sugar might feel unstable, making you shaky, anxious, or just plain grumpy. Your family might ask you to please eat a cookie just so you become nice again. Do not give in. This is the crux of the entire challenge. If you give in on day 3, you reset the clock. You have to push through this valley. The best way to combat these symptoms is to drink tremendous amounts of water, perhaps add some electrolytes, some good quality sea salt, to your water to replace what the kidneys are dumping, and eat enough fat and protein to stay satiated. By the end of day 4, you are probably questioning why you started this. You feel worse than when you were eating sugar. Trust the process. The corner is about to be turned. Somewhere around day 5, day 6, or day 7, it varies for everyone depending on how much sugar you were eating before, something magical happens. You wake up and the fog is gone. The headaches subside. The intense, white-knuckle cravings start to soften into manageable background noise. You are entering the adaptation phase. Your body is realizing, okay, I guess the sugar truck isn't coming. We need to switch to Plan B. Plan B is burning fat. As your insulin levels remain low for days at a time, your body finally unlocks those fat stores. It starts converting fat into ketones for brain fuel. Ketones are a much cleaner, more sustainable fuel source than glucose. This is where the mental clarity comes from. You lose that mid-afternoon slump. You know that 2:30 p.m. feeling where you could fall asleep at your desk? That's usually the post-lunch sugar crash. Without the spike, there is no crash. Your energy becomes steady, like a calm river rather than a stormy ocean. During this phase, you'll notice something incredible happen to your palate. Your sense of taste begins to reset. Your taste buds regenerate every 10 days or so. When they aren't being bombarded by hyper-sweet processed foods, they become sensitive to natural sweetness again. Suddenly, blueberries taste incredibly sweet, almost like candy. You might roast some carrots or sweet potatoes, and the natural sugars in them will taste unbelievably rich. You start to appreciate the complexity of savory foods. If you were to cheat and drink a regular soda right now on day 8, it would probably taste chemically disgusting and overwhelmingly sickly sweet. Another massive change in this phase is sleep. Sugar, especially eaten late in the day, wrecks sleep quality. It causes blood sugar crashes in the middle of the night that release cortisol and wake you up. Without that roller coaster, you will find yourself sleeping deeper. You fall asleep faster, stay asleep longer, and wake up feeling actually rested. Also, let's talk about vanity. By day 9, look in the mirror. The puffiness in your face will have significantly decreased. That water retention caused by high insulin is gone. Your jawline might look sharper. The inflammation in your skin starts to calm down. People with acne often see a major improvement right around this mark because sugar feeds the bacteria that cause acne and drives the inflammation that makes it red and painful. You are over the hump. You are feeling the benefits. Now it's about locking it in. Welcome to the final stretch. Days 10 through 14. This is where things get really exciting because we are moving from acute symptom management to long-term physiological healing. At this point, your body is becoming fat adapted. It is getting efficient at using its own reserves for fuel. Let's talk about what's happening internally, inside your organs. Specifically, your liver. When you eat excess sugar, specifically fructose, the liver is the only organ that can process it. It gets overloaded and turns that excess into liver fat. Non-alcoholic fatty liver disease is rampant right now, even in children, because of sugar. Within just 10 to 14 days of cutting fructose and sugar, your liver begins to default itself. It dumps stored visceral fat. This is the dangerous fat that surrounds your organs and pushes your belly outward. You might notice your pants fitting looser around the waist. That's not just water weight anymore, that is visceral fat mobilizing. Visceral fat is highly inflammatory. As it decreases, systemic inflammation in your entire body drops. If you had achy joints, stiffness in the morning, or vague muscle pain, you might notice around day 12 that you are moving much more freely. That constant low-grade fire inside your body is dying down. Mentally, this phase is often characterized by a sense of calm and control. The food obsession is gone. You don't panic if mealtime is delayed by an hour. You aren't constantly scanning your environment for snacks. You feel liberated. You realize that you are not beholden to a substance to get through your day. Your mood stabilizes. Because your blood sugar isn't whipping back and forth, your emotions aren't either. People often report feeling less anxious, less reactive to stress. The highs aren't as artificially high, but the lows aren't nearly as low. You exist in a state of steady capability. By day 14, you have successfully broken the physical cycle of addiction. Your dopamine receptors are starting to upregulate, meaning you can feel pleasure from normal things again, a walk outside, a conversation with a friend, a good book. You don't need the super stimulus of sugar to feel okay. You have also given your pancreas a 2-week vacation. Your insulin sensitivity is much improved. Your body is working for you, not fighting against the environment you are putting it in. So, you made it. Day 14 is over. The question is, now what? This is actually the most dangerous part of the challenge. Day 15. There is a temptation to say, I did it. I'm cured. Let's celebrate with a giant bowl of ice cream. Please do not do that. If you hit your system with a massive dose of sugar now, after 2 weeks of abstinence, you are going to feel awful. You will likely get a headache, feel nauseous, your heart might race, and you will feel an almost instant return of the brain fog. It's a shock to the system. More importantly, you can reignite that dormant addiction circuitry in a single afternoon. The just one won't hurt mentality is a trap for the newly recovered sugar addict. My recommendation for day 15 is this: take stock of how you feel right now compared to day 0. Remember the energy slump, the bloating, the brain fog. Do you really want to go back there? Most people who complete these 14 days find that they don't want to go back to their old ways. But total lifelong abstinence is very hard in our modern world. So, moving forward, you have 2 good options. Option 1 is to keep going. If you feel amazing, why stop? Turn 14 days into 30. The benefits only compound over time. Option 2 is reintroduction with intentionality. If you are going to have sugar, make it a conscious choice, not an impulsive reaction to stress or boredom. Decide that on Saturday night you will have a dessert you truly love. Eat it slowly. Savor it. And then, right back to the clean eating the next morning. What you have gained in these 14 days is awareness. You now know what your baseline health feels like without the interference of constant glucose spikes. You have control back. Stopping sugar isn't just about losing a few pounds or improving your skin. It's about reclaiming your brain chemistry, your hormonal health, and your metabolic future. It's about realizing that what you thought was normal aging or just who you are, tired, moody, inflamed, was actually just a symptom of what you were eating. 14 days. It's a short time, but it is long enough to change everything. If you're thinking about trying this, or if you are in the middle of it right now and struggling, let me know in the comments. Lean on the community here. Drink your water, eat your protein, and ride out the storm. The clarity on the other side is absolutely worth it. Thank you so much for your time today. If you found this deep dive helpful, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.